Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and today we are recording this the day before Thanksgiving, and then I just, Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. Today we're recording this just the day before Thanksgiving in the U.S. We hope that your holiday, if you're having one, is pleasant and all through the weekend. We had an opportunity to take an early look at Andor, and so here is the end episode, episode 12, end of the season episode, where they tie up a number of the loose ends and perhaps create a couple of other new stories going into the next season. There will be another season of this, by the way. Cassian is back on Ferrix, just like we'd hoped he wouldn't be, but then again, that's kind of like Robin Hood not going to the archery tournament. That would have ended the story there. So he does go back, and the way that he's able to make his way through the town is believable. And this is another thing that I really give this show a lot of credit for, is that everything that they do, while it is heroic, it is not without consequence. It is not without a certain amount of death and maiming. But at the same time, our hero gets away, but he gets away in a way that you could believe that he would, through a mixture of some skill and some luck. He is able to actually move on. Now, this is not a spoiler because we, of course, know that he's going to be in Rogue One, so that is after this story happens. So what he's trying to do is to go back to Ferrix, not necessarily to see his mother's funeral, although he is there for that, but also to see how his friends are doing and try to get them out of trouble. He has only a cursory idea of why the Empire is looking for him, and in fact, virtually everybody on Ferrix that knows him thinks that he's in a different kind of trouble. Once again, for that attack that he made on the guard in the very early episode. Nobody knows that he is the person who is responsible for that base attack, except, of course, for Vel and Luthen and their followers there. Now, as we know, Luthen and Vel are there to kill him, to make sure that he doesn't let any information about them get to the Empire. The Empire wants to catch him alive to find out what kind of information they have based on the theft of Imperial equipment. They don't know that this group was involved in the attack on their base. So all of this is kind of an interesting thing, that he is being sought after for different reasons by different people, and not for the one thing that he's really actually done. And so it makes it interesting to see just how that works out. Now, we know that the Empire has slaughtered Krieger and company, just as they expected it to happen, and the people at ISB are pretty happy about that, thinking they've quashed the rebellion. However, Mira has gone to Ferrix, thinking that if she can get and she has a good line there, by the way. She says that we get no info from dead bodies, and therefore goes to Ferrix for that reason, to try and see if they can't catch Andor alive and get some information out of him about whatever kind of rebel alliance is forming. And the better part of the Empire doesn't seem to think that it's much of a threat, because they think they found their people who have caused the problem, which is not necessarily the case. So right now they're still kind of playing Luthen's game, and that's kind of interesting there. When Andor gets back to Ferrix, he meets up with Brasso and finds out that Bix has been taken captive, although they haven't taken her off world. So he proceeds to try to find her, and the method by which he does find her and gets away with her has to do with the fact that everybody is looking for him, but they're looking for him in the wrong place. They expect him to be watching the funeral. Now, the funeral procession is interesting. They have an orchestra that plays a marching band, that plays a dirge, in a slow march toward the service, shall we say, is going to take place, which is on Rix Road, the main street of their area that is in the title. And they do very much like the traditional New Orleans jazz bands, where they play just a closer walk with thee very slowly on the way, and on their way back they go into a higher tempo. Now this particular group, when they get into kind of the home stretch of where they're going to have the words said, is also a higher tempo of the piece they go. I'm certain that they are informed by the old New Orleans funeral rites, the producers were, in order to do this. I thought it was a nice touch here. And of course, we have B2EMO as part of that. Something I didn't mention last time was just how much emotion they were showing out of B. And it's not unusual, because we know that 3PO could get offended even during the movies, and there is a certain amount of feelings that the droids have. They don't deny having them. And but it's shown in sharper relief with B, who is very much in mourning from Marva's passing, and also scared for Cassian. So we see all of this. But interestingly, B is used as kind of the projector for her own eulogy. She has recorded it sometime before she died and is addressing the crowd. And while she does the kind of things that maybe anybody would do if you could send a video to your own funeral, she also says, "Fight the Empire," her last words. And on that, the Empire charges in. It causes a great big fight. And that's the opportunity that Cassian has in order to rescue Bix and get others out. So it's very well crafted. It's very believable. The B story, we go back to Mon Mothma, who, in order to be able to get the money that she needs out of her own accounts, has accused her husband of profligate gambling, which he denies, but her communication with him is monitored. Probably she expected as much. And so that is giving some reason why her money is being moved around. It's his gambling problem, not what she's doing. So it's kind of a clever ploy that they have in order to keep her out of trouble with the Empire. Meanwhile, however, she is going to our friend, the impresario, shall we say, who wanted his son to meet her daughter. And while she put her foot down and said absolutely not, we do see that that's going to happen as well. All of this being set up for next season, no doubt. Also, we don't know exactly where we're going to find Cassian and his friends. They'll be separated for a while, but I have a feeling that they'll be getting back together in the next season. So with some interesting twists and some very good story writing, good cinematography as always, a very believable plot, a very well executed, well acted, satisfying season ender. We really recommend episode 12 of ANDOR Rix Road. We've given away some of it. We haven't given away the big twist at the end. So if you want to see it, it's worth seeing. And even if you know what's going to happen, it's worth looking at to see the process. Because, I mean, so much of it we already know. Andor's going to get out okay. But how does he do it? How does he get there? And they make a very believable way to do that. So I'd like you to subscribe if you have not already done so, and leave comments below. We'll be happy to see what you have to say about this episode, and we'll talk about what's coming next when we talk with you next week. But until then, don't go far.